Edmontonians came together in Churchill Square to say one last goodbye to Rexall Place. The City of Edmonton is inviting community members of the Dermott District to come review plans for a new playground in their area.
Dispatchers.
So far this year, the EPS call center has received over 90,000 calls, with almost 37,000 calls being a non-emergency. EPS are trying to inform people on the importance on knowing the difference between an emergency and non-emergency call. Alberta food banks are excited to announce that this is the first food drive of its kind, incorporating an online platform to bring in fresh produce. NAIT hosted the Edmonton Regional Science Fair this past weekend, and students from across the city looked to showcase their smarts and creativity. NAIT's women's team is back to hitting rocks at home after going to nationals. More conditions have been added to Travis Vader's bail as he was late to court for the 4th time in a month. The 10-year plan to end homelessness was brought forward in January of 2009. This plan detailed steps on how to end homelessness, with a focus on housing first.
So housing first is kind of a reversal of that, where you, instead of getting somebody housing ready, you give them a house first, and from there provide housing supports.
The housing first strategy allows people who are homeless to gain independence.
You get a little bit of dependence back by knowing you have to pay rent. You know what I'm saying, right? So it gives you some responsibility in life.
Although the city is approaching its deadline for its 10-year plan to end homelessness, some are skeptical that they'll actually reach their goal.
It's a good try, and it's a good thought, but 10 years, no.
However, the city says since the 10-year plan began, they have ended homelessness. But the problem is that new people are becoming homeless.
Well, we've actually ended homelessness 1.5 times in Edmonton. We started with 3,500 homeless people about 6 years ago, and we've housed over 5,000 now in the 6 years since then. And the challenge has been the new supply of people becoming homeless.
The most recent stats show 93% of the 3,500 people housed have been able to keep their homes. But there are still over 2,000 people facing homelessness in Edmonton. Angie Mellon, 2nd edition. It's a battle of the Kings in the first round of the playoffs, and Oil Kings are now back on home ice. The Oil Kings were able to sneak into the playoffs after winning a tiebreaker game for the last spot against the Medicine Hat Tigers. They are now up against the Brandon Wheat Kings in round 1. The Oil Kings started the playoffs in Brandon for the first 2 games and were able to win both. Game 3 was played last night at Rexall Place, and the Oil Kings lost 3-1.
Yeah, obviously going into that tiebreaker game, anything could have happened, and it probably wasn't the scenario that we would have wanted, but it was a couple big games, and like I said, we're having fun with it and we're staying hungry.
Games 4 and 5 will also be played here in Edmonton. Then, if needed, the Oil Kings will return to Brandon to finish off the series. Game 4 in round 2 of the AJHL playoffs between the Spruce Grove Saints and the Sherwood Park Crusaders took place in Sherwood Park last week, and Sherwood Park needed the win to stay alive. Middle of the first, Saints find the puck. Brandon Byro passes to Macklin Pachonsky to give the Saints a 1-0 lead. On to the second, Brandon Byro once again passes the puck to Tyler Bush, who is unlucky, but the Saints get the rebound. And Brandon Byro puts it away for his 2nd point of the game. Still in the second, Crusaders defenseman Chris McKay gets a penalty for cross-checking, and he is not happy about it. Hello everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Ernest. I'm Angie Mellon, and this is Chef Sarah, and today we will be cooking with garlic and flames. Always a good combination.
Yeah, so to start to turn in the tails first, I just left the tails on for presentation purposes because they look really nice that way.
Yeah, I hear you eat with your eyes before your stomach.
You sure do.
Wow, this smells so good. Thanks, Sarah. And thanks everyone for joining us at Cooking with Ernest. I'm Angie, and this was Sarah, and we'll see you next time.